everyone out there. Welcome to Solve It Out. This is Annie here, and today I'm going to build a mini e-commerce site. You can see here I have created a site named Chocolate Corner. You can see a chocolate here with its name, its price, and here is the facility to add its quantity. You can see the total amount has been shown here. If I click the increase amount, that is add quantity, you can see the change in the total amount. The added up amount is shown here. If I click like 3, 4, 5, you can see the total amount is added up here. If I decrease, you can see the amount is now decreased. And if I want to click beyond the negative of 1, you cannot see, means the amount can never be 0 or the quantity can never be 0. So like I want to buy some 3 chocolates, so it will be INR 2400. So if I check out here, click on the checkout button, you can see here the Stripe payment gateway. Yes guys, the Stripe payment gateway is added here. You can see this is a test mode of the Stripe payment. So the name of the product and its total amount with its quantity and price of each. You can see the total here. Now I will pay it with the test card. So here I will write my email and then write the test card number, that is 4242, bunch of 42s with month and year, something in future, and with the CVC, anything you want with a 3-digit. Name I will give here Annie, and country is my country, that is India. And when I click pay, you can see here it's processing. And it's a success. The success page has appeared. You can see the payment successful and your order is in our system. Now I want to go back to my home page. So this is my back to home page. Also, I want to see you guys another thing, that is like you can see here the one quantity is here. Now if I click the checkout and I fail to pay, means I click the back sign here, then this cancel page also appears in front of us. So here if I go back, you can see that payment gateway is still here, and if I click back, chocolate corner again comes to our view. So this whole mini project I'm going to do today in front of you all. Now first let's check the tech stack. This mini project tech stack includes ReactJS as the basic framework, TailwindCSS for the style and design, Node.js and Express.js for the backend server, and Stripe payment for the payment gateway. We'll be also discussing here how to connect the Stripe backend server with the Stripe frontend. Most of the videos in YouTube shows us how to connect the backend with the frontend in the same folder. But here I will be talking about how to connect frontend and backend with 2 different folders. Different folders, you can have any locations in your file. How to connect that different folder of backend code with the frontend of this project. So let's jump on to the code of this mini e-commerce site. We will first start with installing the front end. So let me go to the docs of Tailwind CSS. Here you can see I'm going to use white with React. So first let me copy the command here and let me paste it. You can see npm create white at latest my project. So I'm going to change the project name, writing it as front end, and the template will be of React as I'm using ReactJS for this project. Here it may take some time according to the speed of the internet. You can see the project is created. First, cd into the project, that is Frontend. Then we'll do npm install. It will install all the node modules that we need for running the project. Here, all the packages are installed now. Let's move on to the next step. Now for the Tailwind CSS, we have to install these packages. So here you can see Tailwind CSS, Post CSS, and Auto Prefixer. Also, I want to download here, install here React Router DOM. So we'll install it together. You can see here all the packages are installed. Now let's move for the next step. It will be npx tailwind css init, and paste the command here. We'll create tailwind css config file. You can see tailwind config file is here. Have to add a content here in the config file, that is copied, and change the content here and save it. Next step is in the index CSS, we have to apply this base styles of Tailwind. So inside source, inside index CSS, I'll delete this predefined style and will paste the Tailwind properties. After saving it, now here we have to run npm run dev and have to place some style. So let me copy it from here. Let us go to the app.jsx. We'll delete the code from here. Will not need it. So I'm going to delete it total, and we'll paste the code that I've copied from the Tailwind CSS. Now let me save it, and in the terminal I'll now run npm run dev. You can see in the localhost 5173 port. Let us go there. You can see here hello world written. Our Tailwind is working properly. Let's check once again. Here we can give a text color like text with 600. You can see the change. So our Tailwind is working properly. All the packages are installed. Now first we'll do the routing. Here I need 3 pages. One is the home page, another is the success page, and another one is cancel page. So let's first remove the code here. Now I'm going to need browser router. You can see from React Router DOM. It's auto imported here. Next I'm going to need routes. That is also from React Router DOM. And next I need route. I'll define the path here for the home page. and we'll create the element. I want to create here the home element. That's here inside the source folder. I'm going to create a new folder named components. Inside components, I'm going to create home.js with the RFC extension. And write here home. Let's save it. Now I'll go back to app.jsx and will import the home here. You can see home is imported from the components. Next, I'll create the route of the success page. This success page is required when the payment will be successful. I'm defining the path, and next I'll define the component. We'll create this component that is created inside the components folder. I'm going to create success.jsx. The quick RFC extension. Let me write here success. Save it, and again in app.jsx will import the success. Next, we'll create the cancel page. So with a quick one, let us give the path of cancel and then the element. We'll create the cancel element. This is the component in the components folder, cancel.jsx. We'll save this and import it in app.jsx. Now you can check here the home page. If I change the URL to success, you can see the success written and also cancel page. So our routing is done. Next, we'll work on the home component. So here you can see I have created the design. The design part is complete for this site. Now I'm going to apply the state parts here. That is, whenever I will click this plus button, I want to increase the quantity, and while clicking the minus, I want to decrement the quantity. Along with that, I want to change the amount here according to the quantity. So let's go and write here the state variables. So in this code, let me make some of the values here a little bit dynamic. Like, first I'm going to write const item name here. I want to write the chocolate name, that is Ferrero Rocher, and want to assign this variable in this item name. This variables actually help us when we are submitting our values to the API. So during that time, this is a good practice to assign variable rather than using the hard-coded names. So here I'll give the item name. Next, I want to write about the price, that is const item price equal to 800 here. So here I want to write item price. Next, in the quantity section, want to give some on-click event, that is whenever I will be clicking the minus or the plus buttons, the quantity I need to increase. So before writing the on-click events, let me first make this quantity dynamic, that is to change and write here quantity. And this one I'm going to take a use state here, that is const quantity set quantity is equal to use state. It is imported. You can see use state imported from React, and the initial value will be 1, the default value. So if I save it, you can see here the name is now here with the price, and the quantity here is 1. Till now there is no on-click events applied, so let us apply the on-click events. So let me go to the quantity, that is this portion. Now in this minus, I'm going to add a on-click event. I will be clicking the minus sign. It should do decrement. Let me name the function decrement. And in the plus span, I want to set a on-click event and want to give the function name as increment. Let us define these functions. Each one will be a fat arrow function. Let me first define it, then we will write the whole function. So here I don't want the quantity to be decreased below 1 or go to negative side or become 0. So for that, I'm going to first check here that if quantity, that is the state I've taken here, quantity is less than equal to 1, when it will become less than equal to 1, then I want to set the quantity back to 1. That is, whenever it will try to go back to negative or to 0, then it will always return the value 1, that it will not change from that. Here maybe there is some problem with the now it's fine. Yeah. So if quantity is less than equal to 1, then set quantity to 1. Also, I want to calculate the amount here. So for that, I will take another use state, that is const final amount and set final amount. Going to use state, and the default value will be here the item price, because one item is the lowest quantity. So for one item, the lowest price will be 800. So I'll give the default value as the item price here. So here in the decrement function, when the quantity wants to go back to less than 1, then it should not go less than was, as I'm setting it the set quantity to 1, and then I want to set the price, that is set final amount to the initial price. That is, whenever it wants to go down to negative, then it shall stop at its initial price. This is my first condition check. Next, if rather than going less than 1, that is if quantity is greater than 1, then if someone clicks the decrement that time, then set quantity to quantity minus 1. Then reduce if it is greater than 1. Then if we click the decrement button, then it will decrease. And also the final amount will be final amount minus item price. So whatever will be the total amount, from that the number of quantity it's getting decreased, the total amount will also get decreased. Now let's write the increment expression here. Let's change it to remove this one. On the increment here, easy, we'll set quantity plus 1, and then we'll set the final amount to final amount plus the item price. Our increment decrement is done, and one thing is left, that is this final amount. I want to show it on this amount to be paid, that is the total amount to be paid. So I'm going to remove this hard-coded 800, and I want to replace it with final amount. One thing needs to be changed here, that is the item price. I have written it within string, so it will be a number value. So Now it is all right. That is, item price is 800 and the final amount is also written here. So let me save it up and let us go and check in the browser. So now if I click the plus button, you can see the quantity has changed to 2 and the amount to be paid also got added up. So 800 into 2 is 1600. If I change it to 3, gets added up to 2400. If I reduce it, the amount is also reduced, and if more, let's get 800. Now if I click below 1, you can see none the amount or the quantity. Both the one never changes or goes down to negative or to 0. So that's the checking that I did on the increment and decrement button. Now I want to do the checkout. So let's go to the code. Now for the checkout, I want to write here on click function. For this on click function, I want to name it checkout. Let's write the function here. Const checkout. So in this checkout, I want to fetch an API that is still not created. We'll create the server side also, but let us write the mock data here that is going to use a fetch, and we'll write the API here that is the backend API here. And when I'm going to fetch the API here, it will give with this API, I want to send my data that is here. The API will be a post API as I will be posting the data. I'll write here post. Next, I'll write the headers which is required for every API. So here it will be content type, will be application slash JSON content type I've given. Next, we'll apply the mode, that is mode will be course, as we'll be using two different altogether link, or the localhost link will be different. So for cross origin, we will be using course. And next, I'm going to send the body. That is what the data I want to send to the server. I have to define that. For the body, here I'll write JSON dot stringify. In this body, I want to pass an array with the name items, and the object here I want to pass is that ID. For ID, I'm going to pass 1. For quantity, I'm going to pass the quantity that we have, that is the quantity state that I've taken here. Now for the price, I want to pass the item price, that is the initial price of the item. And for the name, I'm going to pass the item name. Now the major parts, that is the quantity, price, and the name, I'm passing it down. The total, that is the final amount that we are going to calculate in the server side only. This final amount calculation that I'm showing is only for the front end. For the server side, we'll do the calculation there. Now, we'll write the API in few minutes. First, let me complete this checkout function. Now, after passing this, after fetching the post API and passing the body.json, we'll get a response after that. So for that, let us write dot then, that is when we'll get back the response, we'll take it as res, and we're going to check, that is if res dot OK, then return res dot JSON, else return res dot JSON dot then JSON will do promise dot reject JSON. Okay, here that if the response is okay, then we'll return the JSON. If it is not okay, then we'll send the server that we have not got the response. So this is the problem there. We'll send back it to the server. Now then, according to that, that is whether it's okay or not, we're going to send a URL that is defined, that will be defined inside the server. For that, according to the response, the server will send the choose the URL according to the response. If it is okay, it will send us to the success page. If it is error, it finds out any error, it will send to the cancel page. So here I'm taking the URL object. We will return window dot location will be is equal to URL. That means it will send according to the response to that URL. Below this, if other than this, if it has any error, then it will get catch in this log. That will be console.log, that is console.log the error is e.error. Now the checkout function is almost done here. Let me save out, and here in the browser you'll not see any changes right now. If I click checkout also, first we have to make the server folder, then you can actually see that when we will click the checkout there, then the Stripe will be directly connecting it with the Stripe. So first let us build the server, then we'll create the Stripe account. So this is my front-end folder. I'm going to create a backend folder outside this front-end folder, so that the two folder will be completely different. It is inside, let us move it outside. You can see the backend and the front-end folder is completely different. This is the front end and this will be the backend folder. So inside the backend folder, let us go to our terminal, and I'm going to split it here so that my front end and back end runs equally. I'm going to cd back to my mini ecom folder, and here I'm going to cd inside backend, and I'll write here npm init. See, inside the backend folder, my package.json is now ready. Here in the backend side, I want to install some of the libraries, that is npm install cors.env, express.js, and Stripe for our payment gateway. Now this will get installed in this package.json. You can see it here. You can see the node modules and the package.json. Yes, it's called installed here. You can see here course.env, express and stripe. Here I also wanted to install nodemon. You can see nodemon is also installed here. Now let us create the index.js page. Okay, first, so moving to index.js, I want to write here in the script file. I want to change some writings here. That is, we are not going to need this test, so let us delete it. Here I'm going to need start script, where I want to write node server.js, and I wanted to write a dev script for nodemon server.js. Generally, start script is used for the production level. When you're going to deploy it, you're going to need this start script. And for the development that I'm going to do today, you will need this nodemon. So here, I have saved it in the package.json. And now let us create the server.js file. So in server.js, first, we're going to write require dot env dot config. We're going to need the .env file for the Stripe account test, that is API key. So starting the server with this .env. Next, we'll write the const express. We're going to use express here. We have already installed express, so let us define it. Express. Next, write here const app is equal to express. Next, we'll write const course. Again, it's required from course. Next, I'm going to write app.use, that is express.json. Next, app.use. Here, you have to give the front-end URL. That is, as the backend and the front-end folder will be totally different. Also, this is the development mode. When you are doing in the production mode, the backend and the front end will be deployed to other, hosting sites. That time also, in this course, you have to give the origin of your front end. That is, you are actually defining where your front end is running. So in this origin, I'm going to go to my web browser and I'm going to copy this URL here, and for this origin I'm going to paste it out. So right now my front end is running in this URL, so I paste it out here. Next, if you are deployed the site to any other, means in the production level, when you have deployed the site in this origin, you have to give that production link, that is when you hosted the site, that link you have to give it in this origin. Next, we're going to define the stripe, that is const stripe equal to require stripe, and then you have to pass the stripe key of your account that we'll be doing a little bit later. First, let me complete the server-side code. So here we'll need that key, that is API key there. So that will be storing in the env file. So process.env.stripe private. This one will be writing in .env. We'll write it later. So after passing the key here, app.post, I'm going to write the API now, slash create checkout session, and then we'll pass a function here which I want it to be async type, and request and response will be 2 parameters, and then we'll write the function here. I'm going to use try and catch block. So first let me write the catch block, then we'll write the logic of the try block. Inside the catch block, we're going to take e as the parameter, and then I'm going to return response.status. If something is not right or error comes, then it will show us a 500 status with a JSON giving the error message that we'll be getting. So our catch block is complete. Now we'll move to the try block. Here in the try block, I'll first create a session, that is const session, where I'm going to create the object that I'm going to send to Stripe. So in const session, I'm going to use await, then Stripe dot checkout dot sessions dot create, creating the object here. First, I'm going to write the payment method type. So this will be payment underscore method underscore types. I want it to be as initial. I only want card payment here. Next mode I'll define here. It is payment. Next, I'm going to write here the line items, that is the object body that I want to pass, that is coming from the front end. So here I'll write request dot body dot items dot map. I'm going to map through the items is an array which we are getting from the front end. So I'm going to map through that array. Here item. Now here we'll return the price data to be currency. I want to follow the INR as I'm in India, so I want to follow INR right now. So INR, and product data, as product data I want to pass the name I want to write here as item dot name. So in the price data, currency I have passed, and I have passed the product data. Next, I want to pass the unit amount. That is each unit amount. So here, unit amount will be passed in the lowest amounts, that is 1 rupee, and the lowest is our paise. So we are going to pass the amount in the paise. So item dot price, then we're going to multiply it with 100, the lowest amount. Next, I'm going to write the quantity here. Here it will be item dot quantity. So here our session is created after the line items. Means this line items I have created, I'm returning the price data in INR and the product name, its unit amount, and the quantity. So after the line items, I want to pass the success URL. Means the success URL where I want to show the success page, that if the payment is success, I will send it to some URLs. I'm writing that now. Here I'm going to take this Frontend URL, and I'm going to write here we copy this URL, and I'm going to paste it here, and then write success. Here, sorry, I've used backticks, the quotes. Here, it's fine. Success URL, this is my front-end URL, and a slash success page, I'll create it in front-end. First, let me write the URL while I want to send it. If it's a cancel URL, then I want to send it to my front-end localhost link, then cancel. Now the success and cancel page will create now. First, let me complete the server side page. So after writing this, our const session is completed. Next, we'll write response.json. So the URL will be sending session.url. So our Stripe is connected, and a connection code is ready. We'll connect the Stripe after writing this private key, Stripe private key. Connection is done. Now we'll do app.listen, and it will be 5000. Let me save it. Now first we'll write this Stripe private key, and then we'll run the server. So let me first create a .env file. Here we'll copy this Stripe private key variable and we'll paste it here. Here it will be like your Stripe private. So here we're going to paste the private key. So let's go to the Stripe account. Here you can see this is my Stripe dashboard. It's in this test mode. You have to make your create your account on Stripe. It's very easy. You can do it with email and password or Google login. And after getting logged in, this will be the dashboard that you can see. And there you have to made it to the test mode. And here in the developer section, you can see the API keys. I'll provide the link below to make it easy for you to connect to Stripe. Here you can see the developer keys. And there are two types of keys present here. One is the publishable key and one is the secret key. Now you have to copy the secret key. It's the almost same like publishable key. This secret key will actually connect your backend server to the Stripe payment gateway, and it will help you to push your success or to get your payment, and also to push you to the success or the cancel page. It will get decided from here. So you have to copy this secret key, like you click on this revel test key, then you can see a type of this type of key here, and then you will click to copy, and here you will paste the key. So I'll come after pasting the key there. Now I have already pasted my test key, that is my secret key, to the .env file. Now I'll run this server file with npm run dev. So here my server is running and there is still now no error present. So you have to just server is running fine. Let's go to the front end and do the connection there. So I'll go to the home.jsx in the components folder, and here I guess you remember I have written in the checkout function that backend API will be here. So as our backend is running on, you can see here, on localhost 5000, so I'll write the link here and I want to click on this API. When I'll click the checkout button, I want to activate this API. So in home.jsx, I'm going to write the backend API here from where I want to fetch, that is http://localhost 5000, and with the slash I want to copy the server.js API that I've created, that is create checkout session. I'm going to paste it here. HTTP localhost 5000 create checkout session. This is my backend API that I want to connect. If you have deployed the backend server to any hosting sites like Render or to the Netlify or Heroku, you have to provide that link in this front end so that it gets connected to the location where you have deployed. Right now my server is on localhost, so I'm writing this localhost URL. So let me save it, and my front end is running, backend is also running. So now let's go to the web browser. Let me refresh it once. Okay, now here I'm going to add a quantity. Let me check. I want to buy four chocolates. And if I click the checkout here, it should go to the Stripe checkout window. Yes, you can see, guys, the Stripe checkout window is here. Our server is connected successfully with the front end. Now, before showing the demo how to pay with the card, first I want to create the success page and the cancel page. That is the two pages that we have defined in our server.js, that whenever our payment will be success, it will go to the success page, and if it's cancelled, it will go to the cancel page. So let's first create these two pages. Here you can see the success page design is done. Here, whenever there will be a successful payment, it will get redirect to slash success page. And here, if I want to go back to my home page, I will click back to home page, and here I am in my home page. Now next, I'm going to create the slash cancel page design. It will be this one. So let's start. Here I have completed the cancel page. You can see if the payment cancels out, then it's going to show this page that something went wrong. Please retry after some time, and then we can go back to our home page by clicking on this link. So now let's do testing whether our Stripe payment card is working successfully or not. So here I'm going to add some more chocolates. Like I want to buy a quantity of 4 Ferrero Rochers, and I need to pay the amount 3,200 INR. Let me first put the rupee sign here, so it's going to be easy to demonstrate. I'm going to copy the rupee sign here from the Wikipedia, and I'm going to paste it on my code, that is in home.js, wherever the price is there. That is for chocolate corner. Here is the price. So I'm going to paste it here, 1. And then in a total amount, I'm going to place in front of it. Let me save it. And if I see now, you can see, yeah, the rupees is here. So it's easy to understand which INR or which currency I'm working at. So let's refresh the page one more time. And now let's add some chocolate quantities. I'm going to buy 4 Ferrero Rochers. So here I want to click the checkout button. So when I click the checkout button, it took me to the Stripe payment gateway. Now here I want to pay the sorry, here I want to pay it with the card. So for the card information, here I can search the test cards Stripe. So for the test cards, let us see what's the card number we can test on. So here you can see a test card number is given, that is a bunch of 4 twos. Now let's go to our checkout window, and here I can put any email like Annie123 at gmail.com. And for the card information, we have checked out, it is a bunch of 4 twos. Yeah, a card is given. Now for month and year, let me put something in future. And for CVC, write a 3 random number. Name on card, I want to write Annie. And country or region is India is showing here. Now I want to pay. As I click the pay, you can see here it's processing. And payment is successful, and you can see guys, the payment gateway has sent us to the success URL that we have created in the backend, and this is the success page of front end. So our payment is successful, and you can actually see this payment is successful in your Stripe account. You can see here inside the Stripe dashboard in the payments, last payment is 3,200 done by the customer Annie123 at Gmail. That is my Gmail. And this is the total amount that I have paid, and it's received successfully inside the Stripe. Now, let's go back to the home page. Now, I'll show when we cancel the payment, then how the cancel page occurs here. So you can see here, this is one quantity. Let me add one more. For 2 Ferrero Rochers, I need to pay 1,600 rupees. So if I check out, Stripe window appears. Now, if I click this back button, when I click this back button, you can see the cancel page occurs, that is, the payment is not successful and something went wrong, so please try after some time. From here, I'll go back to the home page, and again, I'll order for 2 Ferrero Rochers. I'll do the checkout here. Here, I'll give my email and I'll give the card, and we'll get some date and future. PVC, write my name, and will pay again. This is a successful payment. If I go to the payments and if I refresh it, you can see here inside the Stripe payment, the 1600 has been successfully paid here. So our payment is successful. We are back to our home page. So this is today's project. This is the way we have created a link for the payment in Node.js. There are many different other processes, but this process is actually helpful when we create a e-commerce app where there will be multiple items present and will create a state to do the checkout. So for that, this process is very useful. So do let me know if you have any more doubts regarding this project, and if you want to have some new projects, any ideas, if you can give, you are welcome about that. So this is me, Annie, signing off today. Let's meet in another new project.